Yo, ini bara.
Welcome. Basically, lot of lala me along is cool, man. That I can really relax.
What the madam?
Yeah,
What the madam? Let them do somebody.
that's right.
Grand Villa.
That's fine.
Slowly. Yes. No.
Yeah, actually, lot of people basically me along is very relaxed. So basically, I can understand.
Nina Fanny say what? Nidia, Nena Grand Villa is the best guest house in the Gambia.
Beji andika Grand Villa Guest House. Na labungul bebe senyaring adum na bungul bebe nyarandiring coming ibela fila ila suwe taranyame. Until Grand Villa na kiliano la lafino wale mukangwati intel kang. Na ye sabati Grand Villa yela kodo nafa kalamuta.
Oh man, this is like a paradise.
I know.
I so much love this place.
Thank you.
Trust me, I love this place.
You can move someone and you're watching one.
Yeah.
Jang and you to Gambia. Grand Villa.
I tell you.
Yes, I
love this place. Okay.
Yes.
I love this place, man. Oh yeah.
Ni lefta na kuo keso sotola. Futama Oljuntum Paradise Estate. Mbaya kumandiroke 7527-218. Wale futana website auto www.grandvillaguesthouse.com. Grand Villa Guest House.
Dreaming of owning a property in a prime location with great proximity and fantastic neighborhood? EJ Investments Sanyang Seaview Estate is the best choice you have been waiting for. Our Sanyang Seaview Estate is approximately 15 minutes drive away from the busy hub of Brusubi roundabout and into the heart of nature, where you can have a peaceful and relaxed lifestyle with your family. You can buy a finished 4-bedroom story with 5-year flexible payment plan or a service plot with 2-year payment plan option. With over 300 homes, you will enjoy big tar roads with covered drainage, modern electrification with solar street lights, gated entrance with security post, and a breath-catching experience of our beautiful sea view and lake view. You can own a home today at our Sanyang Seaview Estate. Call us today on 446-4838 or 325-9220. Visit our website on ejinvestments.net. EJ Investments, first in property.
Yara nyilla domoro kadiyata
boy janno sikes restaurant
ke say nakko be ninna dimbal nimba domoro kala janno
domoro seneyata adiyata topotoro fanan kende ma bije luntan during tamala abeka domoro ki janni adi manda wala de te ka we bijele anim fanan ka fadi jang ikono e fa e ka fa minne ko pastry anim bakery iko fanan be kalele ba de lomba conference lomba workshop lomba ye fo pendin lo dunia kono domoro betama nyillom international o toda number 1
amanke ba domo la jandama
esa domo jang is atariya
wo mu kubandi
sa na ko sa futandin
oto sa na ko be mu CK's restaurant
dafa na janna mu yat ni manje dorom bijam
aban
CK's restaurant, known for best quality food and customer satisfaction.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop, or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Welcome to this special program on migration. Today is International Migration Day, and of course, to celebrate the day, I have with me Mr. Njie. Nyang is a blogger, of course. We know he also works on producing documentaries these days as well. So, Nyang, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Fatou.
Of course, also I have my favorite director. I always say that, Mr. Baboucarr Manka from State of Mike. Baboucarr, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Fatou.
Today we're going to be talking about migration. I think this is a topic that a lot of us shy away from, but I've seen a work that you guys have worked on. That is a documentary called Home Again, which we will unveil later on the program. But migration as it is right now in the country is something that we should be talking about often. And I'm so happy that you guys took your time to go see some of the victims and see what they have been going through. But first, before we unveil the program, let's talk about what inspired this documentary that you do, Nyang.
I guess Baboucarr is the right person who will talk about that, and I'll elaborate later. So I'll let Baboucarr take the floor on this and be the lead.
Yeah. Thank you once again, Fatou, and thanks for having me. All of this was prompt because actually I decided to edit the documentary and release it yesterday night, and then this morning I spoke to Nyang, and then he showed me the way through it. Yeah. This documentary, for a very long time, I've been having interest with migrant stories, but especially on the returnees. People that I can see around me, because I don't know, I've not been into the journey. I've not been to Europe, so I don't know much of what they're going through there, but I have a little bit idea of what is happening back home and the impact on all of us, even though we are not migrating. So when the Bara thing happened, I was actually at home editing, and then I saw what's on Gambia Post. These guys are arriving at Amdalai, so I had to make few calls, push here and there, even though the equipment, the state of my crew went out with most of the equipments. I had to coordinate with Alaji on how to find few resources here and there to get there. So when I went there, I just wanted to see stories, because I'm also doing a research for a documentary I am supposed to do later, early next year, on on returnees. And then I just went there to observe. But when I went, I realized that there is more to this. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than my documentary plans. This is bigger than my stories. These are people, human beings that have been hidden behind numbers. we think of them as 62 Gambians, 250 Gambians, 92 people died, or example, all those things. But bringing human faces to those stories is disconnected. And the narrative has always been driven by people that are not migrants, people that are not maybe either Gambians, maybe not Gambians, or people that actually just sit in their homes and offices and decide and think about what is happening in the ground, and there's usually a disconnect. So I just went, and usually when I do documentaries, because I do a lot of corporate documentaries, NGO stuff, I go and ask questions and drive you to a certain point. No matter, okay, we've been doing promos, you keep telling me.
Yeah.
No matter how good your presenter talks, when I put it on the timeline, I can make him look bad.
Yeah.
No matter how bad, I can make him look good. So for a very long time, I've been thinking and working like that. But now I say, let me shut up. Let me listen to them, not interviews, not stage. If they want to get up, they go. Wherever they go, I just follow them. To personally invite myself into their story to understand what is going on, why they're going. I don't know. I've not been in that journey. But also to give people that are going to make decisions about these migrants, people that have been assuming to be experts about their story, to have a little bit idea of the surroundings, what makes them take these decisions, so that it can help them in making decisions. To show you the different, why they are going. The business, like in Bara, it's not a secret when people are going. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a decision maker in Banjul that thinks migration is a hidden thing. So the documentary was not to come and tell you, this is it. The documentary was to give you a little bit idea of the environment for you to choose what to talk about. So basically that was the motivation.
And Nyang, you are an economist, and this is also something that, you know, it has to touch on people's daily lives. For example, I have the privilege of watching part of the documentary. You see how these people are living. If I'm sitting here, I'm saying, but they know that people are dying, but they're still going on this journey. But do we have an idea what their economic situations are? So why, from an economic point of view, why do you think this journey, even though people know that people are dying every day, why do they still continue taking this route?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Baboucarr for really putting visuals behind voices and people that we don't know or we hardly talk about. See, migration has been around since the 16th, 17th century. Africans have been migrating, and equally Africans have been forced to migrate out of Africa. But this is the first time we've seen a group of Africans voluntarily leaving to their peril, meaning to their destruction. But then it means the situation must be very bad. Why are people leaving? We need to understand that the population demographics of Gambia has shifted significantly over the past 18 to 25 years. From maybe 30 to 41% youth population in the 70s, now we have an explosion of almost 57, 58. Some people will even say 59%. So what is lacking? Infrastructure. What is lacking? Public amenities, schools, hospitals. And what is lacking? Economic opportunities. Therefore, the youth of this country are very vulnerable once they come of age and need to be productive members of society. So if we really want to understand why these people are doing this, looking at the lens and the angle that Baboucarr really projected showed people whose food supply is not steady, the quality of food they eat is not steady, where they sleep is not steady, their source of income is erratic, to the point despair and destitution, meaning they are losing hope and it's leading them to drug abuse. So I think this is something that the government of the Gambia must critically look at. And in the process of trying to address it, let's not wait for donors to intervene. Because if you look at all the interventions we're doing, they're all donor-driven and donor-funded. The government of the Gambia must take the lives and the plight of the very citizens that make up this country seriously. And it starts with looking at the youth cluster, looking at what their ailments are, and trying to find how to address it. And just to buttress this point, I was at Jahali Pacha 3-4 days ago. 2,200 hectares of land laying virtually idle. I mean, no pumping happening, no water was being pumped. So basically, those landfills were left to tidal irrigation, meaning productivity on those sites will be very minimal. So the government of the Gambia, we just finished a budget cycle.
In fact, I wanted to say that.
We just finished a budget cycle. And in economics, we say that if people are committed, they put their monies where their mouths are.
Yeah.
And Gambia has been touting the youth dividend. Gambia has been touting youth unemployment. Gambia has been touting empowering youths to the point we have youth empowerment projects. But all these projects are not country-driven, they're donor-driven. And the donors who are giving us monies are trying to keep these youths off the shores of Western Europe, but they're not interested in empowering these youths. And I don't blame them because it's not their responsibility. It's the responsibility of our state, our government, our people to look at the plight of the youth and empower them.
But then, just like you said, we had the budget session. And of course, we saw what was allocated to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I was amazed. I think I remembered the figures. It was in hundred and something thousand, something million. So it's compared to other areas. So how are we serious in saying that we're trying to help the youth when we have not put resources allocated to that? What is the what should be the solution to this? How do we help our youths connected? How do we help them to stay? But at the end of the day, you know, for example, I heard this old woman saying, "Yo Yamade Jindal," was telling to her son, "Yamadan Jindal credit being fijogi Damasona," but that son tried to get money somewhere to feed her parents. So Amute Halis, but he will definitely look for a way to do. That's why you cannot keep these youths here. What do we need to do to get the youth engaged?
Very simple. The government of the Gambia must come up with a deliberate public policy measure that is called youth mainstreaming.
Yeah.
When you mainstream youths, it means into your health system, you find a way to factor to make sure that the youths are prominently projected. In your health sector, you do the same. In your opportunity and employment sectors and productive sectors, you do the same. Our focal point and our pivot, the center pivot for Gambia's development must be anchored around youth empowerment. And that will only happen if the government has a deliberate public policy that is mainstreaming youth across all sectors of the economy, from cradle to grave, meaning from birth, when kids are born, all the way to past maturity and expiration, dying. That means we will make sure that we teach them lifelong skills, because we have a lot of young Gambian youths who cannot survive on their own because they lack life skills. And that's the responsibility of the state by way of schooling, to make sure that youths have a life skill. And when we say life skill, we're not even talking about profession or vocation. We're talking about the aptitude to survive, the aptitude to be independent, the aptitude to be determined. This is something that the home alone can't do it. We need life skills to be embedded within our education system to help youths be prepared for independence at the later
But
date.
the government will also tell you that, for example, we have, what's the name of this project? YEP. We have YEP in place, and we are trying to help young people, and also, but then at the end of the day, also some, you know, they will still argue that, you know, if you're able to pay $80,000 to cross to Europe, why don't you use that money to invest it here as well? These are some of the things that also I think sometimes it stops with us also as individuals. I know you have been to Bara and you have interacted with some of these people. How is the situation like right now? How are the families coping with the loss? And also I saw, you know, how the family embraced one of the guys when he came back, and he was even explaining how he tried to rescue some other people. It's a sad story, but when you look at these people, you know why they're taking this journey. They want to make life better. How is the situation like in Bara and those communities right now?
Okay, for artistic reason this time, let me say also an ethical reason. I didn't want to look at Bara. I looked at one house because I didn't want to go back to statistics. I didn't care how many people went. I didn't care how many people died. I didn't care how much the police took, what was happening with the police. All I cared about, from the one person that I'm looking at, how can I know the great? From the individual, what what through the perspective of the individual, how can we know the general? So every time when I go, I just go to their house. This woman, when I first saw her, I actually started judging her subconsciously.
Yeah.
You have 4 children. You took your 12-year-old kid from school, from grade 5, and went with him in the boat. So when you died or he died, he was not old enough to take that decision. You are taking it on his behalf.
Yeah.
Your other kids will have suffered because nobody else is not going to take care of them, because a marriage issue happened and the husband is in his own world, the lady is in his own world. But I said, that's why I was not a journalist when I went there.
Yeah.
I said, let me just film. Let me just be an eye following. That's why the camera is shaky everywhere, to see their life. And then later I understand that for a woman of her age, she is in her late 30s, I assume. She didn't tell me her age. So taking care of all these kids is difficult. Taking care of yourself, the extended family is difficult. The family is not that well off to take care of all these things. And for far too long, the general public have been judging these people, thinking on their behalf, without knowing the circumstances that they're going through. And a good proof of that is today, this week, boats are leaving Barra after this serious tragedy.
Exactly.
Boats are leaving.
Up to now.
Today.
Yes.
Last week, a boat left from Senegal and entered Europe. Last week, another boat went going and then got intercepted in Kaula. From the same people, I know people from the boats that saw people dying in their boat and they're preparing to leave. They're just waiting for the money.
But what is the motivation though?
What is the motivation is complex. That's why I didn't set out to this documentary to find answers. I went to invite you into their world, and the way you were saying it, it's going to be the way I'm saying it, it's going to be everyone saying it. And then through that, we try to at least see a little bit of how they're living, why they're going, but I don't know exactly why they're going. All I know is about 50 to 60% of those people that survived now don't do anything. They go to the beach and sniff glue because of the stress.
Yes.
One, they've lost their whole entire livelihood. 2, because nobody respected, like there's this stigma around them. But 3, there's nothing around for you to start. And but the 4th person, which we are not also looking at, is the psychological support is not there. They're just left there.
That's what
so now they're in the beach, trying to let go this stress by sniffing glue and getting high every day. And they're there, like in the video around the end, you will see them loitering around the beach in their 50s and in their 100s, there, stressed, without opportunity, without psychological support. Those are the kind of people that are vulnerable to be criminals. They will be vulnerable to do other things that we will come and blame them. And when we needed to stop it, we didn't stop it because we are thinking too much politics.
So that brings to my question, Nyang. At this point, like this was the biggest disaster our country has ever seen. For example, by now we should have had psychologists there. We should have giving them support, even give them food supply. But then, do you think the assistance given to these people is enough? Are we giving them enough as a society, Nyang Jai? Baboucarr, you want to come in?
Just the assistance. I want to tell you what I found in the ground.
Yeah.
As of today, politicians have been there. Barrow has been there. Mama Kande has been there. According to, I didn't listen to the news. I intentionally stopped reading about migration, stopped listening to the news, because everything I wanted to know from these
people directly.
Intentionally, I turned myself off from everything.
Yeah.
So I heard Lawyer Dabo sent some people. I don't know if he was there personally or he sent some, but somebody I spoke to said that.
Yeah.
IOM supported them at the arrival stage. So when it comes to support, usually IOM is a global organization that supports these people.
Yeah.
But also they have criteria. Also they have monies that are directed to certain things.
Yeah.
So now, according to their criteria, yesterday I confirmed with one of the officials, they cannot support you if you've just spent a week there. You have to be there for more than a week, a month or so. So these people went for less than a week and came, they fall out of that criteria. They were not even supposed to pick them from Mauritania. The government pleaded to IOM to go and help them. And when they went, they came throughout that journey from Mauritania to Gambia, according to my sources. They were not having enough money. Not enough. There was not food, no money. So they will come to a spot and say, "Me mama 7," and then go to the next house and I want to eat.
On their way home?
On their way home from Mauritania.
Yes.
And then there was a Gambian ambassador there. According to These sources.
Survivors. No, they're not sources, they're survivors.
According to the survivors. So, and then the politicians went there, like example, President Barrow went there.
He sent people, yeah.
He sent people and gave 104,000, if I'm not wrong. 104,000, when I spoke to my source again, she said that money was meant for the whole of North Bank, the returnees of North Bank. Yeah. And we are talking more than 250 people.
Yeah.
Divided by 104,000, might be maybe less than 500 or so, or around that area. So you look at, these are people that are struggling to pick up life in different areas, but they're not. One of the characters in the story, for him to survive, he has to be carrying these people into the boats like everybody does in Barra. He does that, but now he cannot go to that job because the water gives him phobia. How to call it? Yeah. Brings back the memory of the disaster. So he's not working. Yeah. He cannot go into the water. He cannot go through that trouble because he said the entire thing, what he does for an entire year, he cannot save $1,000. So there's not enough support. And I think before we take on this financial support, emotional support is very important. Yeah. And the best, one of the worst way we're going away from that is judging them. That's why in this documentary I didn't ask any question. I didn't judge them. I didn't think, I just allowed them to speak.
But I think, Baboucarr, first, we need to understand a problem in order to solve a problem. And the unfortunate bit is politicians across the spectrum have seen this as an opportunity to show face and score political points.
Political points, basically. Yeah.
I think Gambia is a country in crisis as it relates to our youth folk. Yeah. They're destituted and they're hopeless in terms of future. So what do we need? We need proactive public policy that will agree that we have a problem as a nation. The problem we have is called a youth dilemma. The youth of this country are in a dilemma because we didn't prepare them for tomorrow, and tomorrow is today. We saw a population explosion coming our way since 1991-92, but we never prepared ourselves to face this day, and it's going to get worse because based on our statistics, our population growth rate, it's not declining, it's increasing. And if you look at our public infrastructure investments, school, hospitals, and the growth of the private sector, it's not in line to meet the needs of this youth explosion. What are we doing as a nation? What are our technocrats doing? What are our politicians doing? How are they channeling this and making it a reality in our budget as a country? Because if that was the case, we will see that education, we will see that youth empowerment would have been very prominent in the budgeting process of this country. So is it a priority for the people who are deciding the fate of the country, or is it just another lip service? And this is one thing that the Gambian must be cognizant of and be aware that the lives and livelihoods of over 58% of the Gambian population is not taken that seriously. Hence, the problem we find ourselves. And that also plays a role in crime. That also plays a role in prostitution. That also plays a role in truancy, kids dropping out of school. It equally plays a big role in the manner in which the Gambian youth is being packaged, processed to be the leaders of tomorrow. So tomorrow's Gambia is very bleak because the kids who should be the leaders of tomorrow are not well equipped with opportunities, education, and welfare to be the leaders of tomorrow.
But before, go ahead, before we,
No, I think, like while Nyang was saying, I got a little bit emotional at the point because it's a great time to be Gambian because there's so many things happening. But also it's a scary time to be Gambian. Yeah. Because I think social media has a role to play. But I think we are so submerged into politics and so scoring political points that we don't anymore care about the individual. We care about numbers. When we went to Kuntawur, example, when Kerr went to Kuntawur, there was a push and pull, which politician have to be there first, because it's not about is the next guy going to sleep in bed. It's about is my voter going to blame me for this?
Yeah.
And you could see that after the results, they start blaming our coverage for that.
Yes.
So you see that there's a lot of politicking that I sometimes sit and...
It affects the ordinary Gambian.
We are sometimes proud to say we can talk our mind, but sometimes I sit at a corner and get scared because we do not anymore care about people. We care about numbers.
Yeah.
And as long as we're going to care about numbers more than the people...
Or people will die.
The reason, this story, beside the politics, this story, I was supposed to scrap because of certain things that I can reveal. I went and saw, remember this woman's plight, problems.
Yeah.
I look at these people, these families and what they're going through, and I thought I owe it to them. I've spent a lot of money to do this. I'm not getting a butut from this.
Yeah.
And I am willing to spend as much as I can to get these people this story where it needs to be.
Yeah.
For the authorities to stop thinking about data.
Yeah.
And start focusing on that woman. Where is she going? Right now, that woman, last time I went there and met her waking up at 11 o'clock. I'm like, okay, now I see why she's going to back way, because she's lazy. The woman goes to bed after everybody wakes up, because when she sleeps, she's only seeing death. The trauma is still coming back.
Yeah.
She cannot sleep. She has pain all over her body. Nobody is giving her medicine. You understand? She has 4 children to take care of. The first day after she arrives, the next morning, she call her lunch.
Yep.
Ndeki and all those things. Where is she getting that money? She's not worked yet. Those kids don't care.
It's
and
money.
At this time, the politicians start thinking on that aspect and forget about these numbers. Since 2017, we have helped 2,000 migrants. Since it's to me, it's a problem.
It's a problem. It's a problem and it's scary. So what we will do is we will look at the documentary. It's called Home Again. Let's watch the documentary, and when we come back, we will look at what needs to happen. So we'll look at the documentary now.
Desperately seeking solutions to Europe's migrant crisis, EU leaders have unveiled an emergency trust fund for Africa as part of a bid to combat poverty and conflict fueling the fleeing of people. The European Commission will inject 1.8 billion euros into the fund, unveiled at a summit with African leaders in Malta.
Europe agreed to disburse €1 billion in development aid over 4 years if Niger began patrolling the desert, confiscating pickup trucks used by human traffickers, and rounding up smugglers and migrants. Without a wall or a fence, Europe cut down its migration flow by almost 90% since its height in 2015.
According to the UN, most of the unaccompanied children that take this journey from sub-Saharan Africa are from Gambia.
What is clear as of now is that the boat that capsized originated from Bara, North Bank region, carrying more than 150 people, comprising men and women.
Mas buba ndeysaan da ngeen du gisandeti waayo ma ngi la jooy di nga jàmbat ma nga demee sante nga ngi jooy di jàmbat ma ne ndeysaan suma jëndakati crédit bi suma jëndakati reer bi ndeysaan suma meykati xaalis bi foo tollu di ma seet na xiif naa ndax mar naa maag baba buba yal na la yàlla fay sa xol fan bu gudda wér gu yaram yal na la yàlla fay sa xol ndax da nga baax buba doom da nga baax yaru mas Sara Mbundu mas na ngeen duñ gisanteeti ma nga demee ba tey maa ngi jooy di jàmbat ma ñàkkee crédit suma xel day la ma tëdd di jooy ali ne ma yaa ma ne leen buuba la Aida di ma leen ko ndox mu tànga mu sangu beset ñu wutal ko lum sol mu sol ko mu ñëw ngeen jox ko mu lekk mu tëdda la ko ma labi si saal bi mu ñëw tëdda ne la ndeysaan waay Sara Mbundu xam nga ne walaay yàlla suñu borom bi du def lu ñaaw dama ñëw ñu dégga dañu buuba dem naa ma féeteeku ndeysaan alhamdulillah rabbil alamin alhamdulillah ndeysaan waay alhamdulillah la ilaha illallah yàlla jërëjëf
boy Banjul ak boy Kombo yi ak boy Baray waaw ñu ne dañoo tal isasiri Alaaji Faye ba tëj isasiri
nañ ko tëj ñi nekkoon
militaire yaa fa taxaw parayam fa
xanaa leen loolu de ñu dimbale non moo ebal gaal bi gaal boo xam ne mu ngi liggéey Banjul baara nga jël ko aj ko si kaw rek pentu ko ñëw ne gaal bu ees fenal nit ñu dem benn fan ñaari fan rek gaal gi xar ñu takka gaal bi yéen de kon yéen ay gën a metti ñun kenn du doon génn ñun day am capitaine bu defee rek bu xelam bi ñëw léegi ñu ngi am naar yu ambassadeur escorte génne ñu moro lekka joxuloo ko ñu naar yi ñuy mbokkal toppatoo ñu ba ñun ñu mbokki jàmbur am ni ambassadeur ñu ambassadeur ba ñu gis ambassadeur indi wu dara topp ñu langa langa liggéey da ngeen xamoon na la loo tax de naka tax sa fële dafa dem laaxatu ji xale yu góor yi wala xam ne ambassadeur bi fa ñaata fan lekku waa gi nga bi police yeeg immigration yeeg li fi di dugal see bi xale yu góor yi expiré ñaata fan lekku ñoom ñu fa wàcce wala wuñ so lu ñoo waxaat yow balaa nga escort ni fi doo ko lijjanti lu ñu escort ni fi lijjanti lu la ko lekk nga ñëw nag ban ngóor nga def ban njëriñ la am moo tax ñu ne xale yu góor yi bëgguñ seen buur bëgguñ seen la salaamaaleykum yal na la yàlla may fan bu gudda wér gu yaram yal na yàlla yokk jàmm may leen jàmm lii yëpp de du dara bu nga teral kilifa yi lépp dara du dara loolu doom wallaay métti na daw métti na dem bu métti dem jooy na ñoo jooy ba xamatu waaye lu ci jooy mu sant yàlla Ben kër ñaari nit ñu bokk de ama ndey ak baay ci ku nekk nga tay jam Allah ci télé bi laa ko seetaan te moom man lu mooy télé ak rajo lépp lu ma wax rek dama ko dégg ci télé ba seetaan ci télé ba ma dégg ko ci rajo wallahi foofu su ma tëddee sax maa ngi gégg naa ay li nga gis rajo bi mu ngi ma amee duma am ma télé de waaye duma dara umpul jaayo li métti na waaye métti na yàlla moo ñu ko teg waaye muñ nañ ko ci yàlla yàlla def ci barke géej amul banqaas géej amul banqaas suñ ku ne gis nañ dara de xale yi dëgër nañ fi xale yi gis dara ñi ñëpp si sax li ñu gis xaaral ba ñu noppale ñi ñëpp si liñ gis suñ ko waxee yëpp àdduna bi tut ajaay da waaye xanaa ñu ñaan rek mu yàlla na fi em lii yàlla na fi em ci kattanu yàlla yoon bi la yàlla na ko yàlla tëj moom yàlla na ko yàlla tëjal boppam ci kattanam képp ku jóg yàlla na yàlla fi ajaay na yàlla musal ci saytaane ay dimbalañ ci njaboot gi
katini rek dal katini gal di wala yow ay ma katini gal hagal ni di
sa garab ya man ruufen laa bëgg sax ruufen dinaa yónni xale yi ma jox la nga demal
Fanam yaay sa ak dema ñu ànda ci foofu noonu di seet xaw ma xaalis pour ñu jël xaalisam daal so si la dem si kaw tali bi ma demee si kaw tali bi ma fekk gaa ngi toog ma dugga ruuxi kii pa baylo nii ma xool ma góora nag gis naa góora muy boot baag Adama ma wóor foofu yëpp gisuma Mohamed parce que ma suma xel ci Mohamed la dem ma wóoru gisuma Mohamed si laa ñëw
tàngal leen maalo dafa des fan dindi li ci fanaan ba yàqu
yow sax bos moo yàqu waaye lu ñu ñëw yàqu bu taxaw
boobu dafa yàqu
waaw
luy añ ba ñëw indi ko nga taaj sotti ko transport mu lekk bale nga tàngal ko ngeen indi ko ñu ndeewul
waaye li yàlla xëy na li mooy jaama ji
jàngal la
li mooy jaama ji de
sant yàlla la doon
Nafsi ma daaw moom ñoo ànd.
bu ma kii def si géej bi ne Nafsi dem def si géej bi.
Nafsi man dama fii dama ñaan mu wala géej bi biir géej. Voilà. Fii. Man dama génn rek di wër yu Nafsi. Dama ko gisagum rek ma yaram sa kuula. Nafsi tamit di ma yu pële. Man lu ma di def waaye ma di.
Su guddi ma dégg dafa doon raam moo tax ma wàcc ñu ne dem si yoon Nafsi.
Nafsi moom jàmbaar la Allora, in pure di ogni Fred. Polisi yooyu polisi lega suñu nekk yow suñu lega bi yëpp cëpp ko baa ngi nafe sa polisi yaa ko yi ñun polisi lu ñu gën a wéy ko daal boy ñu ñëw liggéey ñoom baawul pour ñu jox gaay cëpp problème bu ñu dañ yelwaan Touba
ñoom ñu leen doon dugal ci biir Sénégal di ko yelwaat ñu leen ko may.
Đang si wala sama kan?
Oh, yëpp a ngi noonu di.
Wala bu malam kar.
Maa ngi nii. Oye Thiaw. Yaa ngi ñibbi.
Waaw.
Yaa ngi koy nga wax mo.
maa ngi leen bëgg ko xool fekk mu xool yaay. ci la ma jox yaay ma wax ak moom ma ne ko gars yi ñëw nañ mu ne ma xam ma ne ko ñëw ci mu ngi baax waaye am yaay bi rek yëgul yëg kan ko ko wax. waaw yaa caw xool na ma ko waaye moom yëgu ko. non yëgu ko man wax nañ waaye yëgu ko. waaw.
yaa ma tudd dara fay nga seet ma message seetatu ma message bi.
man barka biig la ma amee fay kool.
Mama Sow naa nomba bi naa la ko jox ndeysaan. xam nga bu ko déggee moom tam sax be xool ma.
kii mu koy stress ko nekk di topp si baax dafa bëri trop. kii mu. magam bi gaañu yaayam gaañu yàggul rakam bi gaañu woon. depuis là kii coono moo tax mënuma ko démarrer na ma njëkk a jóg windaalu daanu.
buñ la wonee dara yaa ngi mel ni kuñ bàyyi ku feebar ba ko bàyyi lopitaan.
man dañoo bàyyi rek moom windaalu daanu. bilaay Ngali suuf dañu ñëw si wàllu boobu. am njëriñ am nga. ceeb bu mel ne nga ne la gis wax nga jëlee.
Alaaji suuragu ma.
gars yi daal ñun ñëpp gars yi dañu ne lekk dañoo lekk daal ay dañoo lekk dugub yi. di taka galaaj yi ba dee man dama taka galaaj. yàlla rek laa lay takk.
spray ak lii moom lañ jeex roloon na spray ak colgate yooyu ñu jeex ñi ñoo jot a def si daanaka yi nga xam ne ñoo gën a bàyyi mais yow dem waaye léegi doo xam gaawut big size yi ma dimbale suma njaboot bi man si suma bopp
Mungkin punya agak lo tahu ni. Yo hanya salah ni kalau ni pakai.
Ela wona am nañu ñëwoon seetam gas ñu ñëwee dañ dem naa ko yaa may gay ñëwaatul sax
ñoo ñëwagul moo tax kooloon nañ ma bànni loolu dama aga joxuñ ma dara ma aga gars yi suma time foofu di ma woo waxi robis ma wàcce bàyyi leen fa bànni moom kuñ ma kool bul time di ko ene risque time di la enquête
wala ne ko ñu nga dem fay gay fa police station
ma aga gars yi di la waxloo après ñu la doxal duñ la jox paas duñ la jox dara duñ la jox paas duñ la jox tous yaay paasal la boppa dem ba Banjul mu nekk ne yow léegi yow da gos benn booy yu bëri li moo leen stress léegi gars yi bi ne dañoo delluwaat
booy nag am nga soo gisul dara tamit
da ngaa dellu ay
loolu moo fi nekk
fii booy yu bëri duñ dee tuuf cigarette sax xalaat du ñëw tuuf cigarette donc ñu nekk di dilia mbiri stress bi la because yaa ngi ñëw waaye toog ew amuloo dara amuloo loolu sa yaay da ngaa stress nga ñëw dilia fi booy bëri duñ dee tuuf cigarette duñ dee tuuf taay stress yi rek moo leen di dugal si dilia
the whole North Bank we are ñoo jóge woon fii yëpp dem ñoom tam ñu understand loolu nag lañ ko moo dañu teg ko si loo nga fan amaa nga boobu kay mënta dimbale kan dégg out of 250 fekkee sa ubbi ko
waaw fan yi bañ ñëwee nii rek am na gaal bu dugg mu aaga boobu Sénégal lam jugee fan yi rek mu du 1 week sa bam duggee fu ne nga ne booy yaa ngi gis loolu booy yëpp ñu ne nañoo doxaat booy bëri ñu ne nañoo doxaat man booy ma àndal yëpp gars yi ngay préparé ñu ne ñoo dugg Sénégal dox bu si ñu ne fii amul dara da nga toog fii nii xam nga
Baboucarr, this is so emotional to watch. I cannot imagine filming something like this, the emotional attachment to it. And you just looked at two individuals. And I am so struck by the aftermath of coming back home. After spending all they have, like the woman explaining how she sold everything to pay for her journey. The next day she came, she had to give lunch to her children. Her eldest child is going to senior secondary school. And she had to give them food.
The child he went with was in grade 5, so he has to find ways to catch up with the colleagues.
Well, colleagues. And then now they're here, no food, no business to start with, no life. And she's even in pain. You could see that she was so much in pain.
The wind in the sea, she's very sick. When you talk to her, that's why I allow her to be in her zone. So she's sick, and nothing is happening. Actually, the boy sold off his bicycle. Not sold off, Taylor bicycle. He sold the bicycle for $1,000 to buy medicine. The boy who talks a bit, Buba.
Yeah, Buba
Did you see the bike he was taking when he was saying, "Man, I do my juju"? That's a bag you can sell for 5,000.
Yeah.
He sold it to get medicine for 1,000.
But Nyang, the aftermath is what is important. The management of the disaster. That is what is critical. And they, you know, what is sad for me, looking at those boys, CBHB, you know, you sniff. Some of them, you doing that tosa, why they stress. But imagine man feeling emotional right now. What about somebody who saw thousands, hundreds of their colleagues dying in the sea? And right now, we're not giving them any emotional support.
Fatou, the reason for this documentary is just beyond us just being emotional.
Yeah.
We want it to be a wake-up call for the government of the Gambia that all is not well on the home front. We have a problem and we have a crisis.
Yeah.
We have a problem of hopelessness, despair, and destitution at the social level. And we have a crisis of the youth of this country. What is their crisis? They've gone through the school system that will not pass or fail them. Meaning, if you pass, you're promoted. If you fail, you still continue your journey to grade 12. So we have graduated a lot of young Gambians who are not capable of even doing menial jobs because we didn't equip them with life skills. We didn't equip them with good education, and yet still we want to curb criminality. We want to curb prostitution. And more so, if you go to our criminal system today, our correctional facilities, the mile twos, the others, they're all filled with young people who are there on a cannabis charge.
Yeah.
And the reason why most of these kids are on cannabis and other, they're looking out for outlets.
Yeah.
Ways of venting the frustration that they've been going through. So the government of the Gambia needs to put the brake, take a snapshot of the society we live in, and let us be realistic for one, that no donor agency country will come and solve the youth problem of this country. Let us reorganize and reprioritize our budget and mainstream youth activity across all sectors of the country, and we make sure that we, the people of the Gambia, by way of our government, put our monies, our national budget, where our mouths are. Because these two people are just a mere reflection of
the entire
bigger,
region.
Not the entire region,
Yep.
the whole Gambia. This has
Gambia.
nothing to do with Nyomi.
Yep.
I mean, URR, they suffered significantly. Badibu suffered significantly for youth migration. So I think the government of the Gambia needs to have a national summit for youth dialogue and youth reorientation. If not, crime will be on the increase. Prostitution will be in the increase. Hopelessness, despair is going to be on the increase. All is not well in this land of ours, and it takes government to be the driver for us to have transformation as it relates to youth empowerment.
But also,
one thing that is dangerous that I think we need to look at is these people overnight have been through the worst possible.
Yes.
So what you come and give them in the Gambia, they're not going to be scared of that.
Yeah.
You understand? They have seen death.
Yeah.
Killing might not scare them. Seeing them being killed might not scare them because a lot of them can be.
Yeah.
Without the right psychological support, without the right financial and all the other supports, these people can be the next set of Gambians that will be difficult to control if they are not support. And then by that time we start blaming them. But at this point, we could have, like Nyang said, correctional facilities. We don't have correctional facilities. We're just washing you. We don't correct you. And this is the point where we should correct you, within your house, within your environment, to give you, because people in the Gambia, people don't put respect in effort and hard work. They put respect in results. Even if you go into Tripoli, your leg is blown off, when you come back, make a local. The guy that took flight or whatever he went through and went and came back and bought a cycle or a motor, bro, you're starting.
Taking it.
Because the results, not the effort. And these people have been through a lot. These boys, like right now, that Buba is going to that beach. I'm not seeing him sniffing. But he's not going to the beach to walk because he cannot touch water. Touch water give him memories that he don't want to remember. And now you're going to blame him. But he was working before he left. But now he cannot handle it.
Baboucarr, there is even a bigger picture, and I think that's the hypocrisy of our system. we are making poster boys and girls of the Mohamed Sanyang, the poultry guy,
Yes.
the Momar Tals,
The
the
Tigers.
Tigers, and that's
Bunch
not
of them.
a reality of Gambia.
It's
These
not.
people are few Gambians that we can handpick. So we
Not
cannot
just
use them.
handpicked. They are where they started is not through this. Most of them started somewhere.
The point is, you drive across our roads, you see big posters showing us how successful these people are, and if they can do it, you can do it. That's not the case, because you have just seen these examples that were manifested on this video or documentary. We have a problem, and the problem is not only access to opportunity, but preparing the youth of this country to be self-reliant financially, and that comes through schooling and the teaching of life skills. So the government of the Gambia must put the brakes, go back to the drawing board, see how best we can change something, and also be committed into youth empowerment by showing it through the budgets, not donors having youth empowerment projects here and there, but the government of the Gambia taking our little tax dollars and putting it into the betterment of the youth folk, because they form the majority. And for crying out loud, they are the leaders of tomorrow. Are we preparing a set of Gambians to take over a country in the next 15, 20 years? My answer is no. Is that scary? Oh yes, it's very scary, because from where we are, it looks like we're going downward instead of making steps to go upward.
Yeah, well, I want to embolden what Nyang said about honesty. Because generally, the conversation have not been authentic enough. That's why the migrants are rejecting the stories. They're rejecting the message. Like examples, he said to you, since Morocco, since Mauritania, you didn't help us. But when we came to Gambia and cameras are around,
you want to escort us. Yeah.
Show us that you love us. So we're not going to take it. That's why there was difficult fight between them there.
Yeah.
But also, just yesterday, I was at the international human rights, whatever, at Senegambia. We were showing a film that I did a couple of years ago on migration. Even though my intention on the film was not much about migration, there were other layers.
Yeah.
But now I went there and I was discussing, the discussion was about migrants. I met a boy there that a year ago, last year, I told him, you are back in the Gambia, you're championing a cause of telling these migrants don't go. The message is important. How do you tell the message is important? But I just wanted to understand from your own perspective, as not people that you're telling don't go, your own perspective, are you happy? Are you making it in the Gambia?
Yeah.
He said, boy, on WhatsApp, boy, you don't know how stressful we are. Sometimes we actually think of going. And when you talk to him, he tells you all the horrible things he's been going through.
Yeah.
So we've been talking for quite a while, and I started building my scripts, stories, planning. One day he woke up and said, I cannot do that documentary. Because when I do that documentary, people that are funding me are not going to fund me because they don't want that rhetoric.
They don't want the story out.
Yes. So now, that's why we cannot look outside for help. We are looking inward. Because if we cannot support ourselves, the person that is going to help us is going to dictate the story that we're going to tell about migration.
Yep.
So we cannot be honest enough to show this. These things that we are doing, we're supposed to go to bigger grounds, but they cannot because the story is not compatible with what
to buttress your point,
that's true.
Baboucarr and I work closely together on a lot of projects.
Issues, yeah.
When he came to my office today, he was in distress because this is what he told me, and I'll be very straight with Gambians. The story that I have seen, because he didn't say the story, the survivors narrated their own story.
Yep.
The donors don't like it.
No.
Because it's not telling their story, what they want. They want something that is scary to deter Gambians from leaving. That's the donor interest. The interest of our government, for crying out loud, is not to deter these people. Is to give them an opportunity and a reason to stay and make it in Gambia. But you know what? I pass through the streets, you will see billboards, take a fee. That's take a fee. It's rhetoric.
Yep.
How
are we taking fee?
Wow. Made in the Gambia. Young Gambians who are made in the Gambia. It's great. It's ideal. But let's be realistic with these people. If we want to help them, I think we need to go back. Like I said, mainstream youth activities across all sectors of the economy.
And across all regions.
And make sure that our budgets are skewed towards youth empowerment across all, from health, from education, from agriculture, from employment opportunity. Today, why should the government of the Gambia increase the retirement age of the average civil servant instead of decreasing it to make sure that the young Gambian has a chance to get employed? So what I think our policies as a country are incongruent. They're not consistent, and it's not making sense. And so far, I will say, without hesitation, that we don't have a youth-friendly public policy across the board, other than what the donors want to do. All the donors want is for the Baboucarrs, the Fatoumatas, the Seynabus not to hit the southern shores of Europe. Let them not hit Lampedusa, let them not hit Italy or Portugal. That's their interest. But that's not the Gambian interest. The Gambian interest is to create an independent youth who can take care of himself and will not be a liability to family and by extension society.
And before we go, I know we have about 2 minutes, but one thing that struck me here is at the later part when the guy was saying how that there was another boat that reached. I'm the boat girl with them.
They are planning.
I'm the boy. I'm the plan for them. So when this thing happened, government did announce that they are launching an investigation, and then they are going to put a stop to it. But if people are going up to now, shouldn't there be, when this happens, shouldn't there be a stiffer law and putting measures in place to make sure? It seems like this is a gang. Yeah. Even some, it seems like it has not stopped.
The reason why those investigations will not succeed is because they're calling. You heard Buba telling the other boy, if they're calling you to bind, you don't go.
Because these are your part.
The authorities are so used to office ground, they don't know what is in the ground. That's why I'm doing this documentary, for you to invite them into that ground. Now they're too big to get on the ferry and come and stay in Barra and sleep in Barra and know what is going on there. Do you understand? Yeah. So they cannot know what is going on. They know what is happening. They know that the police were involved, according to the story. They know there's allegations that the alcalde was involved. They know that there's a system that is benefiting from this. Some people allege almost 200,000 that the police ate from this. Yeah. Who is going to, are you going to investigate yourself?
No.
So what I'm saying is get
Who
to
is
the ground.
The police? Yeah.
Know them. So this documentary was not, as I said, going to answer any question. It was just, if you're in a government and your work is about psychological support, you will see elements that you can work with. If you're in a government that you look at employment, you will see things that can give you. Look at this woman, the old woman, telling you. Like you, right now, when I woke up from my house, I ate very good food. Yeah. And when I went there that night, like the same day that they were talking about that Malo Butanga, I ate very good food. When I went there, their food had rotten, but they started to divide it. Part bini. I have not lived that life for a long time. I cannot judge why they're going.
Gambia 2019.
And as far as we are sitting in our offices to think for them, talk on their behalf, put numbers on Facebook and books,
and giving it to bonus,
we'll always get it wrong because more people are going. These boats, they're not stopping. These boats, they're not stopping. The business in Barra is booming. The last day, the day of the 3 years journey, I was actually with there. That's the day we shot those boys sniffing glue in the beach. Yeah. In the ferry, openly people are talking about how unlucky these people are because so many people have made it and they are planning to go. People on the, because it's common knowledge. What are you investigating?
And they don't even
Get to the ground within a day, you have the information. What are you investigating? These are the investigations we've been going with for the past how many years? Commissions and investigations, at the end, nothing happens. Let's get to the ground and understand these people's stories. Let's get into the ground and know why they're going and stop the politics, because it's not helping us.
And Baboucarr, I think the government, I wish we get a copy of this documentary to the president as a report from the public, directly from the survivors that came back from Mauritania.
Honestly.
This should invoke the collective conscience of all Gambians, all, irrespective.
Yep.
This has nothing to do with politics. This has everything to do with welfare. And the welfare of the Gambians should supersede the personal interest or collective interest of any group. Therefore, the government must immediately put the brakes and not address the problem of Barra, but generally across the board, the problem of the Gambian youth. Hence the reason why I am saying that there is a youth dilemma in this country and it needs to be solved. If not, society is going to lose. Our best and brightest will either die through the seas, the desert, or they'll end up being destitutes and drug abusers in town and or prostitutes. So we need to do something.
Something definitely needs to be done. This is, Baboucarr, this is an amazing job, and I think more cameras need to roll. More stories need to be told. I think this is what will help, because, you know, when governments or other people visit, all we see is the fine things. But at some point, you even saw how the communities were reacting.
They didn't even want to meet those people.
So
their representatives met them because they're still angry. You see the first shots, the person was insulting me. Why am I filming them?
Yeah.
Because why are we giving them attention now?
Now,
The journey,
when they needed
they didn't have attention.
So I think the government should look at these stories and know that the people are really hurting. But for me, the emotional support should have started yesterday. The emotional support is needed. These people are hurting, and it's important that government looks at their plight.
Share a number, please.
Thank you. Yes, share a number. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, please. Let me share a number. The lady.
Yeah.
I have been with her.
Yes. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I've been with her for some couple of days, and I know she's vulnerable, and I know any sane Gambian woman that has 4 children to decide by yourself to take a 13-year-old child with you in a boat in these rivers to Europe, to a place that you don't know, to these oceans, to a place that you don't know. It was not an easy decision. You have thought and thought through. And we can only judge what we see in the news, but we cannot judge the news, the facts that are surrounding you
and the newsmakers.
And that we cannot understand.
Yeah.
So just for support, if there's anybody that can support Bara generally, the victims of Bara, the people that return generally.
Yeah.
And I am thinking more of psychological support, especially those boys that you find.
I think we need to give
But for this woman, I've asked her permission and she allowed me. If you know Baboucarr Manka on Facebook, you can contact me. I can contact you then if you don't catch this.
Yeah.
But her number is 390-3362. 390-3362. Yabina. Ndey Fatou, she told me her name is Ndey Fatou, but they call her Yabina.
We need people to
help these people, because
especially the psychological help. We would encourage people to get that number. Okay, he just put the number up there.
Yes.
So we definitely would want to work with you on this. Especially, I know she's hurting, she's feeling sick. You know, her children are suffering. They cannot even provide food.
What I'm most worried about
is
the level of anger I see in Bara.
Wow.
I am part of the most accommodated cameraman.
Yeah.
You understand? Even at this beach, if I show you raw footages, they were insulting my mother. Because they hate attention at this point, because they were not given attention. And that anger, if you don't look for ways to call it down, if you don't respect them as human beings and not numbers, that anger can go to a place that it's going to be beyond.
Thank you very much. Nyang, final message.
Well, I think, Fatou, the message has been amplified, and we need to further amplify it. But the people we really want to get this message are not the audience.
Yeah.
It's our public policy practitioners. Make a difference in the lives and livelihoods of people. Gambians are not numbers, and Gambians are not statistics. They're real people on the ground that are suffering today. So we need an emergency youth summit in this country, and not for it to be politicized, but for it to make a meaningful difference in the lives and livelihoods of Gambian youths who are being destituted.
Wow. Thank you very much, Baboucarr, for always following the story. I think this is we need to concentrate more on things that are happening out there. This is a disaster, but I think for me, like I said, what is important is the aftermath of the disaster. For those of you who are watching, if you give psychological support, I would like to call on Mariama Samate. I know this is what she does. She does psychological support. She lives in America. We would want to work with you to put her in contact with the ladies, so to see what she can help with psychologically. But there are other good Gambians out there. I think we'll work together to see what we can do to help some of, like that, especially that woman. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, Nyang, and to all of you watching. Thank you, and good night to you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Abroad and want to build your dream home in the Gambia without risking your funds and family ties? Do you want a household name that is trustworthy and efficient? A name that will continue to give you updates on the project from the beginning to the very end with videos and pictures? If your answer is yes, then worry no more. Boss Construction and Asset Management is here for you. If you live outside the Gambia and want to build your dream home, then this is ideal for you. Just reach out to Boss Construction and let's start building the dream home into a reality. With Boss Construction, the difference is clear. We give you value for money. Some of our services includes the following: construction management, building equipment rentals, rent management, purchase and leasing, asset management, and many more. For more information, please contact 282-4945. Better still, send us an email, bossgambia@gmail.com, or you can also visit our website on www.bossgambia.com. Boss Construction, a name you can trust. Boss Construction and Asset Management, keeping families together.
No lañ def ñoo ñëw ak yéen rek Skincare Plus nara jàkkaarloo ak yéen waxtaan ak yéen tuuti rek si suñu tube suñu baax emuñ rek ci ay diw waaye comme ni ngeen ko xamee rek dañoo yëngu ci ay tube te yënguwuñ nag si just any tube suñ tube bu nekk 5 star jesna la 5 star jesna mooy jesna bi gën a pire moom la ñoo tube palmaan bi gën a fort moom la ñoo liggéeyee ñun rek si tube dara du doy day des not only dañoo tube but bu la neexee ñu tuubal la ba pare nag ñawal la. We're not all about skin. We are skin, care, and the plus. And the plus does come in so many different ways.